Hey guys! Starting a bit early today, but I thought I was ready, so why not? Sort my hair out. Oof. There we go. Got a cup of lukewarm tea. That'll cheer me up. So I've just been making these hanging felt embroidery for hi there, Julie. For children to make. That was just the earlier session today, so that is now uploaded onto our channel. So if you know anyone who's got children and wants to have a stab at that, you can. Just need felt. Oh, Lorianne, I want one. It's really cold. Never mind. Hello, I think that was Kim. Hi, Kim. Hi, Brenda. Hello, Rebecca. Nice to see some familiar names. Hi again. Oh, right. So, if you are just, yep, coffee, I bet. If you are just joining us, I should let you know that I am wearing the Edie top, which is from our ebook. It's the Work to Weekend one, my capsule wardrobe Work to Weekend. So this is the Edie top, and I just made a little headscarf out of leftover fabric from my Betty dress, which I sewed with you guys last week. And all I did is I cut a square, and then I just put a rolled hem on my overlocker all the way around, and then just folded it into a little headscarf. Love using up something small. Yes, Danes, I remember that. You guys do drink lots of coffee. Much more so than us Brits. And in fact, I work sometimes with a Danish photographer who's lived over here for ages, and before that he was in the States. But he doesn't drink tea. And every time he comes to my house for a photo shoot, I'm like, damn, I've forgotten to get some good coffee. And the poor guy, I've given him some terrible coffee over the years. Now I actually put the cafetiere down, the coffee, and be like, do you want to just do it yourself? Not a good coffee maker. Right guys, I'm going to start because I don't know how long I'll have. Obviously Mondays is always quite hard because I have Jasmine, and normally she's down for the entire time that I'm sewing, which is wonderful, but we're pushing it a little bit here because she went down at 1:45, so she will be waking up soon, I think, but we'll see. So I thought, as this is like the beginner slot, it's all about easy projects, and I'm divided it up in quite an unusual way today. I'm going to do some hand sewing, and then also I thought something that everyone loves learning when they do our intro to sewing course is how to hem jeans, so that you keep that hem. So we're going to do two things. Now I have absolutely loved, and I haven't finished it, but I've absolutely loved doing this. I'm really sorry that it's going to be back to front, isn't it, for you? So choose to be optimistic. It feels better. So what I thought we would do today is some very basic embroidery, and making some little signs that you can hang in your house to cheer you up, or you can give them to somebody. So this is my quote. Oops, sorry, the iron. Choose to be optimistic, it feels better. And I've started, you can see there, to do a flower, but I haven't finished it yet because I started this last night. So this probably took me an hour and a half, maybe. So yeah, but it's such a lovely thing to do. So how I did it was, the first thing I did is I drew something on paper in my rather messy handwriting, but I felt like I wanted it to be in my handwriting because then it sort of is more personal, and also if I send it to a friend or something, then they will recognise it, and hopefully it will make, help them think of me, because that will cheer them up. So you've got this. I thought I'm going to do another one for my old neighbour who is working for the NHS, and she was a community nurse, but she's now been asked to work full-time as a ICU nurse, and she's exhausted already. So I thought I could make this and post this to her. I forgot to say, actually, I wanted to say at the beginning, I do this every time. I have things that I want to say and I forget. So I wanted to say that, hello Rosie, Rosie's here with us today. details for donations below. Those of you that want to support us and give us a pat on the back, you can. Those of you that have already done that, thank you so much. And yes, so we have now, I believe, and Rosie will confirm, I'm sure, but we have now added lots of products back to our website. So we've been trying to get our website up and running so that we can start to ship physical things. Now, I'm afraid that we are only shipping to the UK because we are hearing from other friends and business owners that there are lots of delays and problems with shipping stuff abroad at the moment. So, so unfortunately, we are not able to ship abroad at the moment, but our copy shop printer is up and running, and Rosie has the copy shop printer at her flat, so she will be doing copy shop orders, and I have our physical patterns like these and the poppy and jazz ones, and I also have our fabric stock. So I will be sending out that, and Rosie will be sending out the copy shop patterns. So it does mean if you order things from us, you will get them in 2 separate deliveries, and we have, it is up and running, yay! Yes, and you will have to pay slightly more shipping for that, but we've obviously not made sure it's the lowest that we possibly could, but it's just because we couldn't think of a way that we could do it otherwise. So if you want to order fabric and copy shop patterns, you can, but they will come from different places. One from me up here in Yorkshire and one from Rosie. So yes, we will be busy with that, and obviously because we are doing this on top of trying to do all the other bits and bobs, we will have longer delivery times, but I'm going to try my best to keep on top of it. So we also are selling sewing machines, so any beginners that are here and they don't have a sewing machine, we're selling sewing machines. They are on offer as well at the moment. Our Janome sewing machines are only £2.99 at the moment, and Rosie will pop the details to it, I'm sure. But yeah, if you want a sewing machine, they get dispatched straight from Janome to your door. Amazing. Corona-proof delivery. Right, so my poor mum, I don't think she'll have any pillowcases left by the time I've left here. So what I've done is I've cut very roughly, a piece of cotton that was in a pillowcase, and I've got another bit of a sheet here that's a backing, and I've also, I don't have any wadding or batting, cotton batting, so I've used some ice wool because I had that, which is something we use in tailoring. So it doesn't really matter if you haven't got that, you can just embroider straight on, but I'm making a little sandwich. But before I do that, I do need to trace this off. So put it onto paper and then lay it, let's see if I can move this down a bit. There we go. Lay it on here. Make it sort of relatively central, and then I'm going to use a Friction pen. These pens are brilliant. I use one for this, and you just draw it out, and then it will evaporate or disappear with heat. So I'm just going to write my quote out so that I've got something to follow. I can think of all, I would now want to make these for so many people I know who are really finding things hard at the moment. Oh dear, that went wrong. But I have to say, there is something incredibly therapeutic about hand sewing. There have been studies done, there we go, all sorts of things that have been proved that this kind of project craft in general is brilliant for your mental health, for helping you wind down, and I can prove that. Last night, I spent the time making that one, starting to do that one for you guys, and it took me, so it was an hour and a half, and I had something on Netflix. I was sitting by the fire, had a cup of tea, of course, decaf, because it was the evening, yeah, I was so relaxed, and I was finishing it off, or starting doing a little bit more this morning, and it was, I listened to a bit of classic FM, loved it, very, very therapeutic. Okay, so I've struggled to get that in, but I've got it in, and I've now noticed it's slightly off, but that's okay, because I can embroider that, and then I might put some flowers there. So, I've literally just lost my needle, that's so annoying, I could hear it ping. Just a second, guys. Where did he go? No, it was a pin. This is not good, is it? I can't do this if I lost my needle. It's because I was using it for the kids session. Did it go on there? No. I think it did have one in here, but I don't think the eye is big enough. Oh dear. Sorry guys. Normally very organised. Not today. Talk amongst yourselves. Aha! I've got it. Oh, whack my machine. Okay, so we are going to use an embroidery thread. They're called skins, I do believe. And we are going to separate those threads out. So we don't need to use all of the threads. So they're made up of 6 strands, but we're just going to split them into 3 and 3. So this is something that anyone can do. This is lovely and easy to do. Beginners, if you're watching and you don't need a sewing machine, and even if you don't have an embroidery ring, it obviously does help keep things taut, but you don't need to have it. Oh gosh, I've got myself into a right pickle there, haven't I? It's all going wrong, guys. It's all going wrong. I am an expert, really, I am. Okay, you didn't see that. So, we are, oops, get that needle. So we're going to thread the needle. So, and just to repeat, I've got 3 strands there, and then I'm going to knot to that end. So what we're going to do is backstitch. You see up close? That is, so on the writing is backstitch. So what I thought we could do is if we do our quotes this week, and then next week I'll do a bit more on flowers, and I'll get myself a bit more ahead on the old flowers on that one, and maybe on this one as well. So, can we see? Let's see if we can bring it down even more, so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. That is hard. I need to change that angle even more. I can't sew at that angle. Okay. That's better, isn't it? Okay, so we are going to start here on the Y. And we're going to come up. And we're going to go back down. We want our stitches to be relatively small. And then we're going to come back up. And we're going to go back down again. I think the beauty of this is you can't go too quickly. Therefore, it just helps you slow down. Quietens the mind, and you can just lose yourself in the sewing. So when you do a backstitch, you kind of start ahead. Yes, I will show you the little knotting technique. Shush, Mr. Iron. I used to do a lot more embroidery when I had more time, so it's been really nice for me remembering why I used to do it and how much I loved doing it. Okay. So you're just going to go on and on like that. Now, I'm going to go down the Y, and then I'll stop and I'll knot off so you guys can see how I do that. Now, I wanted you all to know that we have been asked about sewing masks and scrubs and all sorts of things like that. And we have recommended that you guys find groups that are organising it. However, I am trying to, well, hopefully I will be getting a delivery of a scrubs pattern and also some fabrics, and I'm going to put up, it won't be live, but I'm going to record an extra video on how to sew them, so that any of you who are sewing them around the country and want extra help, there will be a video of me sewing them and showing you how I'm doing it. I'm also, next week in our beginner session, we are going to be making drawstring bags. And those drawstring bags are brilliant for those NHS workers that have said they cannot, the hospitals cannot cope with with washing all of the scrubs at the moment. And so they are having to take them home. And if they had some cotton drawstring bags to put their scrubs in, then they could put them in those in the hospital and then put that straight in the washing machine when they get home. So I think they do have to wash them at 60 degrees. It does need to be cotton. So I will be doing all of that, guys. I want you to know that it's not that we're not thinking of helping. You know, obviously we have these wonderful skills that we can sew and we can do that sort of thing. So I will be. It's just making sure that, yeah, I'm recommending the right message and also, yeah, trying to fit it in as well. But yeah, we're all doing our bit. I've made a cushion for the neighbour up the road, which was from last week's session. And I'm going to leave that on her doorstep. Now I'm sending this. I think there's all sorts of kind things we can do. But obviously, something that we really do urgently need to do is to start to make more scrubs for our wonderful NHS. Wow, that's a really long why. Okay, so let's go to the back and I will show you the magic knot. Now, apparently a surgeon in one of my classes once said that this is called an Aberdeen knot, but I don't know. I don't know where I've seen it or learnt it, but this is how I do a knot. So you make a knot in the thread and then you push it down. Oh, did it too high up there. There we go. Make a knot in the thread, not too high. And then you push it down with the needle, tighten it around the needle, make sure the needle's all the way at the bottom of the fabric and then pull that out. And that way your knot sits nice and close. So that's how you do that knot. So guys, that is the hand sewing, just to show you again. Here's one I did earlier, but have not finished. So let's all enjoy some nice, quiet, chill out time, doing some embroidery, some quotes to cheer yourselves up. And hopefully other people. Threads, how many threads did you use? Well, on this one, well, that's the strands of threads, it was just 3 strands out of the 6. But the colours on that, I've got quite a few threads on there, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. But they are embroidery threads, guys. I don't actually have an embroidery thread here, but you know, it's that thick stuff. Okay. So that's our hand sewing. That's something all of us, whatever skill that we're doing, our sewing level is at, we can all enjoy that. So let's come back up. And let's talk about jeans. If you follow us, by the way, guys, if you follow us on Instagram at Sew Over It London, I'll try and put some progress of what I'm doing up over the week of this on Instagram stories. And I will also, but I'll come back to it and show you how I did these flowers. Obviously, I've got to have a practice before I show you them. But I'm pleased with my first flower. Okay, so jeans. Now, when they make jeans, they sew them up and then they sandblast them later. And so what that does is it gives it that worn effect there. Now, when you take your jeans to be hemmed or you hem them yourselves, they'll come back with the hem like that. And I always just think that looks really naff. And it looks like they have been hemmed by, they look, you can tell that they've been shortened basically. So what the technique that I show, and this is crazy. I don't know if any of you ever knew this, but Gap, who has basically Gap Europe, so France, Italy, and the UK. I was their denim alterations consultant for a few years when they rolled out something called their Denim Addict in stores, and what that was a kind of free alteration service of their jeans, and I used to have to train all of their staff in the UK, Europe and France on how to alter jeans. So this for me, I feel like I've done it so many times, but it was amazing and they rolled it out across all these stores. It was like quite an exciting project to be involved with. But yes, so jeans, and I feel like we've all got jeans and we all want to know how to alter them the best way. So, little bit of maths involved. What you need to do is fold them up like that. Now, if you know that you want to take your jeans up by say 2 centimeters, if you fold them up like that so that you've got 1 centimeter from there to there, so from that fold to the hem, that's actually 2 centimeters when we fold these up because it's on this side and then it goes up there. And we're going to stitch this bit away. So we don't want to include that because that's going to fold back down again, okay? This technique only really works with straight-legged or slightly skinny-legged. It doesn't work with bootleg because then you're going to get, this is going to be a lot wider than where you're taking it in, so it's not going to fit. So you can though obviously take it up more. You can just, this becomes just bigger folded bit. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to put some pins in like this. Someone just said, can I show you how I made my hairband? So easy, but yes, I will. I can pop that into maybe the beginner next week. So next week on the beginner, we're doing embroidered flowers. I can do a little headscarf, and we're going to be doing the drawstring bags for the NHS. So I'm just putting the pins in like that. So I'm putting them parallel, and I'm putting them right next to the kind of hem where it's turned up. Okay, there we go. Yes, boot cuts, etc. need sandpaper. Yes, that is something you can do. You can distress, if you've got to take them up the regular way, then you can distress them with sandpaper, and also you can even distress them with kind of like a zester that you would zest a lemon with. Right, so that's that. I'm now going to get my machine up. Now, I don't need to take these jeans of mine up, so I'm going to be unpicking it afterwards. So I've also kept the white thread on it that I was using last because I'm going to take it out, it doesn't matter. But if you were to be doing this on your jeans, you want to make sure that you're using a nice dark thread or whatever colour the jeans are. Okay. So the gap in the little central mark in the middle of my presser foot, the little line, is sitting right on there. That bit there. Right on there. And I'm going to sew on, so if it's like this, I'm going to sew on this side rather than on the hem side. I'm going to put it up to a long stitch length just for me so I can unpick it easily. Obviously you would use a regular stitch length. I find with thick fabrics like denim, it's good to use slightly longer than the standard that the machine has. So like a stitch length 3 or something. Ooh. I'm also going to start in the middle, which is something I rarely do. So I'm not going to start here or here because it gets really chunky there and it's hard to start at a chunky point. So I'm going to start here. I'm getting back to where I started, I'm overlapping and I'm reversing. Is it a zigzag? No, it's not a zigzag. So it is a long stitch and it needs to be a straight stitch ideally. But if you've got a lot of zigzag, not zigzag, if you've got a lot of elastine in your jeans, then you could use a very narrow zigzag. So width of about 1. Or you could even use the stretch, kind of the lightning bolt stitch, which is sort of looks like on your machine, it goes like that. And that's like a more of a, it's like a stretch stitch, but it's more of a linear stretch stitch rather than a zigzag. Okay, so there it is. Okay, then the magic. The magic, the magic. Da, 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 da. Ah, so we're going to press that. Let's put Mr. Machine back down. Oi. It's another bruise. Just whacked my shin on my sewing machine. Oh dear. Okay, so we're now going to press that Oh, little Jasmine has been asleep all this time. Press, press, press. So pressing it from the top. Lots of steam, lots of heat. Ah, how amazing is that? Can you see? Very, very closely you can see that seam. But I'm sorry, but who is going to be looking at your hem that closely? And if they are, they can trot off, can't they? So if you look on the inside though, I pressed that bit up. So when I'm wearing it like that, it will be like that. But it's literally the best technique, and it means that you keep that lovely sand-washed edge, and you can still take your jeans up. If you are taking more than that up, I would recommend overlocking or zigzagging it, so cutting it down, because it will just keep pulling down when you put your foot in. It will just kind of come down like that. So that amount is easy to kind of keep upright, but any more than that is not. So that's how you take up jeans and keep that lovely hem on them. Hope you found that really interesting, guys. Or useful. I can't wait to see your quotes, so please do share them. I think it'd be really lovely for all of us to see them. If you are going to do them, then yeah, do share them. Use use the hashtag stay home and sew along, and tag at Sew Over at London on Instagram, and obviously otherwise putting it up on our Facebook page would also be great. Links to all of those are in below. Thank you to those of you who have donated. Please do continue to donate if you can afford to. It is a real help to us at the moment. Obviously, we're enjoying doing these sew-alongs, but we're also doing them as a kind of extra thing to try and help us through this difficult time. So yeah, your support is most welcome. That's it for today though, guys. I think clap to Jasmine for staying asleep, bless her. The sun has now come out, so I'm going to spend the afternoon outside with her. We have got, oh, it's lovely here. We basically, at the back of the garden, there's a paddock that's owned by our neighbours, and there are sheep with lambs now in there, little baby lambs. Oh my goodness, they're so gorgeous. Do you know what? That I will put some up on Sew Over It. No, where should I put them up? Because I feel like I'll put them up on Lisa Comfort Home on my Instagram. I'll put them up on the stories this afternoon. We'll go and say hello to them. Jasmine is obsessed with looking at them, and just like a spring lamb is just the loveliest thing, especially when they do that funny like skip and a hop thing. So cute. So yeah, that's my afternoon. Right guys, thanks for joining me. I will be back tomorrow. We're going to be sewing the Ava skirt. That's going to be a challenge in an hour, but we'll do our best, won't we? That's all we can do. Have lovely afternoons. Bye.